category that we have is post positivism. The next category is culture. The third category is critical, and the last one is normative. Before talking about goals, I'll be explaining you what these each of these categories they stand for. Number one, post positivism. Here the idea of positivism, as Lisa, you do come from a scientific background, so you can understand positivism is more about having scientific ideas, using empirical methods to construct your knowledge, to do your research work, being more close to understanding that something has to be proven false in order to reject it. So these kind of things are there in positivism. But in post positivism, adding this prefix with positivism, the researcher they accept that it is very difficult to be scientific, and as scientific as scientific researchers are, so in social science, in communication research, we do accept that we will be trying to be as scientific as possible, but it is not completely possible for us to be 100% scientific. So we do accept that we cannot call ourselves belonging to the discipline of positivism. We belong to post positivism. Okay. And the next division is cultural theory. Cultural theory is also known as hermeneutics. Hermeneutics is you could say an ancient term given to the learning of religious text, learning of scriptures that we have, learning of mythological texts that we have, and trying to grasp the meaning that is hidden there. So the inspiration has been taken from such kind of analysis. And today in communication field, if we are trying to understand the meaning of communication message, if we are trying to understand how a culture utilizes different means of communication, basically when you are more concerned about the meaning of the research topic under concern, then you are more close to doing a hermeneutics or cultural research. Then there is the next division here, that is critical theory. Critical theory means that you are being very critical about the research that you are doing. Whichever topic that you are selecting, your idea is to gain knowledge, your idea is to understand what is happening in the system around you, and then finally bringing the change. So the idea of criticism is not just in pinpointing what is wrong with the system you are researching about, or what is wrong with the system you are living in. The idea is to finally bring the change, and that is why we say critical researchers. And the last one is normative. Normative goes with the word here, norms. So when you use certain norms in your research topic to compare the you could say the structure, the system that you are studying. For example, if I say that we have been given freedom of speech and expression by our constitution, and if the certain political party is stopping us from doing free expression of what we want to say, then this is against the right that has been given to us. So what I'm doing, I'm comparing the working of one political party on the basis of the norms given by our constitution. So such kind of research when you do, when you take one ideal standard and you compare that with the research topic that you have selected, then what you are doing is a normative research. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about the goals. Here we have post-positivism, cultural, critical, and normative. When we talk about goals, the goal of post-positivism is very similar to scientific researchers, which is explanation, prediction, and control. When we talk about scientists, or when we talk about scientific researchers, what they want to do, they want to explain something. They want to explain why we are having these kind of climate change, and then they what they want to do, then they want to predict that if this change continues, then in next 5 years our earth will not have this much of water, will not have this much of forest cover, will have this problem and that issue. And by giving this prediction, what they want to do, they want to control it. They will give certain ideas. If you will be using this much of less water, then we will be in a better condition. If we will be planting these many trees, then we'll be in a better condition. So the idea of science is used in this post positivism also, they want to explain what is there in the research topic, then they want to predict on the basis of this, and then they want to control. Let's take an example. For example, if I want to study what is happening in you could say in Indian media, and how certain channels are behaving, and for that I am taking one channel, selecting it as my research topic, and I'm studying it for a month or for a period of 2 months, 3 months, and then I'm predicting this, that if this is the way Indian channels will work, then we will have a very big problem with how the democracy will work in our country. And on the basis of this prediction, what I want to do, I want to control the way media system are working, and want to somehow bring change in the way that their working is happening. So on the basis of explanation, on the basis of prediction, I am trying to control the situation that is there around me. This is the goal of post positivism. Okay. Okay, now the next division, culture. What is the goal of culture theory, or you could say hermeneutics? Hermeneutics is Hermeneutics. So the goal of cultural theory is to understand. That is very simple goal of culture theory. They are not concerned about predicting something. They are not concerned about controlling something. They are concerned about understanding something, and that is why the main underline, the main base of this theory is meaning. Whenever you are only trying to understand meaning of something, you are doing a cultural research. If I want to understand that uh, why we have some kind of you could say some kind of exposure problem, or some kind of proper communication understanding between northeast India and the rest of the India, then I am not concerned that what how it should be changed. I'm not concerned about what wrong things have happened in the past by political parties. What I'm concerned is, I am concerned about only understanding what kind of gap is there and why this gap is there. So when you are only concerned about understanding something, then you are doing a culture research. We can take one more example here. If let's take an example of a certain kind of culture, and we want to understand the way they communicate. I know I travel to some of the remote tribal areas of our country. I go to the most central parts, and I'm trying to talk to them only in order to understand what kind of communication practices they have in their environment, in their social circle. And that is what I'm trying to do, only to understand, not trying to control, not trying to change, not trying to give some kind of explanation. Then I'm doing a cultural research. Moving on to critical division, I am more concerned about bringing the change, and the change is possible only when I become a part of the internal politics of a system. So if you want to change the working of a country, you have to get into politics. If you want to change the working of even your organization, you have to become a part of the politics there. And that is why we say that the goal of critical theory is inherently political. By nature they are political in approach, because they want to gain knowledge only because they want to bring the change in the system that exists. This system could be about one organization, this system could be about one kind of media, like say film industry, or this system could be about very simply of a country where you have a democratic system. Clear? And then the last division that is there, normative. Normative, as I said earlier, here you are looking forward to have some kind of comparison. And why you want comparison? Because you want to you are more concerned about judging something. For example, I am trying to understand how different countries have their media system. What is the basic system of media in different countries of the world, and I'm taking certain standard to judge the media. For example, I'm taking that how freedom is available to different media system in different countries, and freedom is my base of judgment. And then I'm judging the media of America, I'm judging the media of China, judging the media of Russia, of Korea, of India. Then I will have a judgment, I will have a comparative analysis. And this is what is the goal of normative. They want to judge on the basis of the ideal system they have selected. So what you do in normative research, you select one standard which is perfect as per you, which is the base of your research, and on the basis of that you judge the other system that you want to study about. Okay. Okay, now this is the second base of division, and this is the first category, philosophical category, that is used in dividing the four divisions of communication research theories. The division are post-positivism, cultural, critical, and normative, and the philosophical category that is used is ontology. Okay, okay. Just in between, Javir, hello, good afternoon. Hanji, finally you have joined today. Okay, I guess you have missed a part in the between. Yeah. Okay. So, do you want me to repeat what I said before you joined? So, okay. Do you want me to give you some brief about it, or we can just move ahead? Okay. Fine. 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 So, right now I'll be explaining this first philosophical category, that is ontology, and tomorrow we'll be finishing this. Tomorrow we'll be studying the epistemology and axiology. Okay. See, this is Javed, this is a philosophical term. So obviously the we cannot change the name of the philosophical term that we are using. Okay, if we have to say that the language is English, or the language is of computer Java, then you have to say Java. You cannot use some other term. But the only thing is that important is not to remember the word ontology. Important is to understand what ontology means here. Okay, so I'll be explaining what ontology means, and then I hope you would not be required to remember ontology as a term. Okay, okay. So let's talk about now. The point comes that why we are studying ontology. See, we are studying ontology here in communication research because when we choose a certain topic, the reality of your research, it changes. I'll give you one example. If I'm saying that I want to understand how the people of you could say people of Andaman Nicobar or any other remote area, maybe you could say the higher hills of Uttarakhand or Himachal Pradesh, the very up villages which are on high altitude, how do they see this entire system of film industry in India? Do they have access to watch films? Do they have access to some kind of cinema hall or not? So when I'm talking about film industry here, I cannot talk about the technology. I cannot talk about how directors work. I cannot talk about who Amitabh Bachchan is and what kind of acting career he has had. I need to talk about only the excess of these films available to the research area that I have selected. So what happens is that when you select a narrow topic in your research, when you go for a more minor research, you go for more deep down research of certain topic, your area squeezes and you have reality. You need to understand reality just on the basis of that topic that you have selected. And when you have such very specified reality, then you need to understand that people, they understand things very differently. There will be people, those who will say that only when you can prove something they will be accepting it. There will be people who will say that okay, even if there is no proof about it, if it happens, if somebody has faced it, if somebody has experienced it, then there is reality in this. There will be people who will say no, we need to understand this thing in relation to how the system is. that we can understand casteism only in relation to India, or we can say that we can understand racism more in relation to the western countries. So द रियलिटी जो हमारी जो वास्तविकता है वो उसको हम बहुत ही अलग तरीके से समझ सकते हैं। और एक रिसर्चर होने के नाते दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू डू अंडरस्टैंड कि अगर आप अपनी रियलिटी को जैसे समझते हो, यू डू नॉट गेट मोर क्लियर अबाउट दिस थिंग, तो रिसर्च करना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है। आप क्लियर हो रहा है जयवीर? Okay, okay. I'll be giving you explanation with each of the divisions here, तो और भी clear हो जाएगा. Okay. Somebody's mic is open. Lisa, will please switch off your microphone? Lisa, hello. Okay. Yes, so talking about the first division, that is here, post positivism. The idea of understanding reality here is this, that when you are going with the approach of post positivism, when you are saying that you want to explain something, you want to predict something, you want to control something, when you want to be more scientific in your research, then the reality for you is only which is possible to be studied through systematic study, which is possible to be studied through proper scientific methods, which is possible to be studied through proper, you could say, understanding, proper predictability, proper calculation of the research topic that you have. So the researchers, those who use post positivism or those who fall under this division, they accept that even the social world is measurable. You could measure the reality of the social world. So if I will say that I want to study how people they think about Narendra Modi as PM, that if I'm taking post positivism approach, then I will give them some kind of scale. Okay, rate him on the scale of 1 to 10, rate his governance on the scale of 1 to 10, rate how he is with bringing different laws and different kind of acts into our country, rate him on 1 to 10, or is he work satisfactory, not satisfactory, or uh, quite more satisfactory, something like that, some kind of scale you will provide. So this will be post positivism, when you want to study the social world, the human world, by measuring it, by studying it systematically, so you are able to predict. This is the reality of post positivism. But when we come to the other division, that is cultural, the reality changes. Here the researcher, here the people, those who are studying under culture division, they understand that there is no true रियल मेजरेबल सोशल रियलिटी, यानी कि किसी भी तरीके से आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि सिर्फ यही एक सच है, हर इंसान का अपना भी एक सच होता है। एंड इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग, देन यू विल नॉट गो अबाउट प्रूविंग समथिंग टू बी ट्रू ओनली, यानी कि आप सिर्फ एक ही चीज को सच है ये साबित करने पे नहीं पीछे पड़ेंगे। अगर आप कल्चर थ्योरी को अपना बेस बनाते हैं, देन यू विल बी मोर ओपन दैट people have different reality, so it is better to take the reality for each people. People will have their own image, they will have their own version, they will have their own reality, and when you do that, it is easy to understand. When you are not forced, when you are not determined to prove one thing true and other every other thing false, then you are more close in understanding the meaning of it. Okay, hello. Yes. Okay. And the next division is critical. Here, the reality is dialectic in nature. I'll be explaining what dialectic means. Dialectic means that the interaction between structure and agency. ये जो structure agency, these two terms, these are very much in use in studying economics, very much in use in studying, you could say, the political science, the sociology. So these kind of branches of social science, they use the terms like structure and agency. What do you mean by structure? Structure means the way your system exists, the kind of rules and regulation you have in your social system, the kind of belief you have in your social system, the kind of political setting you have in social system. And agency means how the common masses, which we also know as human agents, how these human agents behave with the structure. So this is called agency. So the behavior of human beings with the structure, this inter you could say this interaction between structure and agency is also known as dialectic. एक समाज के लोग, उस समाज के नियम, उस समाज के विश्वास, उस समाज के जो धारणाएं हैं, वहाँ का जो यू कुड से द एंटायर पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम इज देयर, इसके साथ कैसे बिहेव करते हैं, उनकी इंटरेक्शन इसके साथ कैसी है. फॉर एन एग्जाम्पल, जैसे कोविड-19 जब एकदम से इमर्ज हुआ था, when this started somewhere around January and February, then people in America were not ready to accept this lockdown. They were protesting against it, they were speaking so openly against it, and they were coming on roads and saying that we don't want this lockdown. But this didn't happen in India. People were more supportive towards the government. They were ready to go about the lockdown, although they had problem, but they were quite supportive here. तो ये जो एक इंटरेक्शन है एक जगह के स्ट्रक्चर के बीच और एक जगह उसके लोगों की वहाँ उस सिस्टम के प्रति जो रिएक्शन है उसके बीच जो ये this interaction is there, this really helps in creating the reality for the critical researchers, because what you can criticize in a certain social setting depends on how people are behaving towards the social setting of that area. एक जगह के लोग एक जगह के समाज के साथ उस जगह की जो पूरी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है, उस जगह की पूरी सेटिंग है, उसके साथ कैसे बिहेव करते हैं, इसी के बेसिस पे वहाँ का क्रिटिसिज्म और वहाँ का चेंज भी डिपेंड करता है. पीपल इन अमेरिका वांट टू चेंज the way politics is more race driven there, but people in India would like to change how politics is more religion driven in India और कास्ट ड्रिवन इन इंडिया. तो इंडिया और वहाँ के वर्किंग में बहुत फर्क होगा. इफ विल गो टू सेंट्रल एशिया, central Asian countries, then maybe people would be more concerned about giving more rights to women, giving more rights to other, you could say, the other categories of human settings there. तो यह reality critical division के लिए, the reality for critical division is you could say is created on the basis of interaction between the structure and agency, and this interaction we call it as dialectic. Dialectic यानी कि ये दोनों के जो dual interaction है यहाँ पर उसके बीच से create होती है, उसके बीच से जन्म लेती है. Okay? Hello? Okay, and we can take the example of the farmer protest that is going on right now from last few months. You can understand that those who want to criticize the Indian government right now, for them the reality depends on what kind of norms our country is trying to apply, and how the people, how the farmers of our country are reacting to it. So the reality for the critical researcher right now in our country would depend on the interaction between the system and how the people are reacting. So you can understand that the reality will differ, because every time the system that you will be selecting will be different, and every time the people how they will be behaving towards it will be different. Okay? And then the last division here, that is normative. For normative, the reality is very situational in the sense that if you are selecting the constitution of our country, then we need to understand that the judgment will be on the basis of how the situation is our country, because our constitution has been framed keeping in mind the condition of our country. If North Korea has set up a different system, so the situation there is different, and the way people have created that system is very different. So what you understand as real for normative division, for normative theory, is a media system that you have selected, only that is real. If I say I have selected the constitution and I'll be judging the newspapers of this country on the basis of it, then only thing that is real for me is that constitution. I'm not going to listen to any other thing. This you can understand the way a judge gives his verdict on anything. Only thing that he uses is his constitution, and the way IPC gives different kind of sections. A judge does not understand the emotion, does not understand what any other thing is, does not understand what would really have happened. He understands the reality of the constitution, he understands the reality of the sections given by IPC, because the basis of judgment as by normative theory, as by normative standard, is to take that system which you have selected to be real, only that to be real. नॉर्मेटिव डिवीजन जो है वो ये मानता है कि जो सिस्टम आपने सेलेक्ट कर लिया है जजमेंट के लिए, अगर मैं इंडिया के मीडिया को जज करना चाहती हूँ भारत के संविधान के हिसाब से, तो भारत का संविधान विल बिकम द ओनली थिंग दैट विल बी रियल फॉर मी. No any other thing will have any importance in the research. If you take this to be ki, you will be taking the base of UN human rights, uh, given the human rights given by UN for the entire world, for the entire human population that lives on this earth or lives in this world. तो आप फिर उस ह्यूमन राइट्स को ही अपना बेस बनाओगे जजमेंट के लिए, फिर आप किसी कंट्री के अलग से जो सिस्टम है उस पर ध्यान नहीं दोगे, कोई सा भी हो. अगर आप बात कर रहे हैं कि आप अपने इंस्टीट्यूट में जहाँ आप पढ़ रहे हैं, जहाँ आप काम कर रहे हैं, what kind of rules regulation you follow the protocol of your organization. So using certain base to judge something, that is normative. उस जजमेंट के लिए नॉर्म्स जो आप यूज कर रहे हैं वो आपका सेलेक्टेड सिस्टम पे है और उसी के बेसिस पे आप सारा अपना रिसर्च करने वाले हैं. सो द ओनली थिंग दैट रियल इज फॉर नॉर्मेटिव इज द system that you have selected and nothing else. Is that clear? Okay, so this is the ontology. And hello Javir, has Javir left? Okay, okay, it's okay. So he was asking that do we have some kind of alternative name for ontology or term? So the idea is it's not important to remember ontology. Important is to understand that these divisions tell us that if we want to understand something, then we cannot go with a fixed mind that we have to prove something to be true. Okay, so when your goal becomes to understand, you have to accept that people will have. Yes, hello Javir. Hello. हाँ, इट्स ओके, इट्स ओके. मैं आप ही की बात पे बात कर रही थी कि आप बोल रहे थे ओंटोलॉजी के लिए एक अलग से नाम कोई और तो नहीं है, इजी थोड़ा, जिसको याद रखा जा सके. हाँ जी, तो ऐसा ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन ज़रूरी ये है समझना कि यहाँ पर जो हम ये चार डिवीजन के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, इनका डिवीजन जो है वो हमारे को रियलिटी को समझने, रियलिटी से मतलब क्या है, जो एनवायरनमेंट है, जो ह्यूमन एनवायरनमेंट है उसको समझने में हेल्प करता है. ऑन्टोलॉजी अपने आप में हेलो. हम्म. 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 नहीं 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 जयवीर, ऐसा नहीं है. जैसे मान लो अगर आप हैं, आप टीवी न्यूज़ चैनल्स पे रिसर्च करना चाहते हैं. ओके. जैसे मान लीजिए आप टीवी न्यूज़ चैनल्स पे रिसर्च करना चाहते हैं, और तो आपको ये समझना पड़ेगा कि आप रिसर्च करना चाहते हैं उसमें आप जो चीज जानने योग्य है, यानी कि आपके रिसर्च टॉपिक का जो एग्जिस्टेंस, आपके रिसर्च टॉपिक की जो वास्तविकता है, उसको आप कैसे समझते हो. क्या आप ये समझते हो क्योंकि न्यूज़ चैनल्स में ह्यूमन बींग्स काम कर रहे हैं और उन सब के अपने अपने इश्यूज हो सकते हैं, तो जिस तरह का काम वो कर रहे हैं उसको समझने के लिए यू नीड टू टॉक टू देम एंड देन यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. ओके. अगर अगर आप ऐसी बात कर रहे हैं तो आपकी अप्रोच जो है वो कल्चरल हो जाएगी. अगर आप सोच रहे हो कि नहीं, आप उनके कंटेंट को देखेंगे और उनके कंटेंट के बेसिस पे यू विल से दैट उनकी उनके जो वर्किंग है वो इस तरह का है, या उनका वर्किंग जो है वो खराब है, वो सही नहीं है, इस तरह से आप कुछ सोच रहे हैं, तो आपकी जो अप्रो ऑन्टोलॉजी है, यानी कि आपकी जो रियलिटी है वो बदल जाएगी पोस्ट पॉजिटिविज्म में, क्योंकि जो आपको दिख रहा है उनके प्रोग्राम में, उसी के बेसिस पे आप अपनी एक्सप्लेनेशन दे देंगे. ठीक है। अगर आप बोलेंगे कि आप ये रिसर्च जो है कर रहे हैं क्योंकि आप टीवी न्यूज़ चैनल के काम को सही नहीं मानते, भारत के संविधान के हिसाब से आप उसे क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हैं, उसे बदलना चाहते हैं, तो आपकी रियलिटी हो जाएगी यहाँ पर डायलेक्टिक, यानी कि क्रिटिकल बन जाएंगे आप। ठीक है। और अगर आप बोलते हैं कि ना आप समझना चाह रहे हैं और ना ही आप इस तरह से क्रिटिसाइज करना चाह रहे हैं, लेकिन आपका आइडिया ये है कि अगर भारत के संविधान में कुछ नॉर्म्स बताए गए हैं तो क्या ये चैनल उसके हिसाब से काम कर रहे हैं या नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो आपका आइडिया नॉर्मेटिव हो जाएगा, क्योंकि वहां पर आप जजमेंट देंगे। यहाँ पर ऑन्टोलॉजी से मतलब ये है कि आप अपने रिसर्च टॉपिक में किस तरीके से चीज जानने योग्य है, किस अप्रोच से आप रिसर्च में ज्ञान को समझना चाहते हैं, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ यू कुड से व्हाट इज knowable, what is there to know in your research topic. When you understand this thing, you understand the reality of your research topic. Yes. नहीं, समझ जाएंगे भी, समझना तो जरूरी है ही, बिकॉज इफ यू डू नॉट अंडरस्टैंड, देन द पॉइंट इज दैट till the time you will be finishing your research, you will be confused whether you wanted to criticize this thing, you wanted to understand this thing, you wanted to give some kind of comparative analysis, or you wanted to predict something so that you can give a solution to the people. So if you do not understand that what reality you have your research topic, then you will not be able to figure out what benefit this research will have for other people. Okay. Okay, just let's say, take a very simple example. We talk about one film. If as a researcher I want to understand what this film is, then I will not be concerned about what the director has done is this film, and if I can give some kind of opinion, so will he be able to make a better film next time. I'm not concerned about what he will be able to do, what prediction I can make. I am only here to understand what this film is all about, and then only if I only have the idea of understanding, then what I'm doing a cultural research. If I say that this film is not properly made, this should not be the way of making a film in our country, then what I'll be doing, then I'll be doing a critical research. And if I say that let's take the base of how films are made in Hollywood and let's judge the films in India, then what I'll be doing, I will be doing a normative research, because I have selected one ideal standard, and on the basis of that I'll be judging Indian films. And if I'll say that I want to see this film so that I can tell if the director has done proper job or not, if the editor has done proper job or not, and then I can give them prediction that if they would have used different VFX, if they would have used different shot, if they would have used certain different art setting, then this film could have been much better. And on the basis of these predictions, they will be making a much better film the next time. So then this will be a post positivist research. So when you understand the reality, when you understand what your research topic is, and you understand the approach that you want to apply, you are much more clear about the research that you are doing. Okay. Yes, it will tell, it will be clearing you the idea why you're doing this research and how you're supposed to go about this research. This will be giving you the direction. Okay. So this is about ontology. Tomorrow we'll have a class at 11:40, and we'll be studying the next two philosophical categories, epistemology and axiology. Okay, Lizo, do you want to ask something? Okay, okay. So we'll be having a class tomorrow at 11:40. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay.